This is an excerpt about healing depression, and in this excerpt I cover symptoms of depression and the reason and value for recognizing the different forms of depression and how depression appears in our energy field, including our secondary auric field and chakra system, our expectations of how depression looks and feels, and how this can be misleading, and situations that are associated with depression, missed and misdiagnosis of depression, and finally remedies for healing depression and ways to shift out of depression. Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Sophia James, an integrated medicine doctor and an intuitive. This discussion is about how depression affects us within our physical, mental, emotional, and energy bodies, which includes the colors in our auric field and how the chakra system is affected. Depression is a very common disorder and occurs simultaneously and often prior to a physical diagnosis, can occur from a trauma, can be a medication side effect, from substance abuse, depletion, and other depleting conditions like eating disorders, including bulimia, anorexia, and combinations of these, from a life change, and is also a common part of Western life to the degree it is considered epidemic. And here are different symptoms of depression. Depression is a loss of interest or pleasure in life, feelings of tiredness and poor concentration. There can be sadness and negative self-talk, difficulty with sleep, guilt and low self-esteem or low self-worth. Depression can and often does accompany illnesses, accidents, trauma, and loss. And grief often is part of depression, which means grief occurs first and then can become depression. So later we discuss trauma in another chapter. So loss includes a relationship of a job, can be to a person, retirement, or a lifestyle. Depression also occurs in postpartum depression, in seasons where there is little sunlight or even during too much heat. And it also can be reoccurring through a person's life. Often other behaviors can be engaged when a person has depression in an effort to self-medicate, which can include eating disorders and all different kinds of addictions. Effects in the secondary auric field and chakra system. So I'm clarifying and spending time on depression because it has many different forms and often is overlooked and often is not even diagnosed with a physical disorder when it's commonly co-occurring. The energy field of someone who is depressed or feeling blue is a blue-gray color. It's not a vibrant blue, but a dull, pale blue-gray, which is non-translucent. If we're describing this color from how it feels, it would be discerned as a heavier blue that exists around much of the body. And often the color may become more substantial or thicker surrounding the head, shoulder, and upper torso. So there's more information about how the colors influence and affect and relate to our emotional, psychological states and how they affect different parts of the energy system in the text, Energy Medicine Primer, Awakening the Science of the Auric Field and Chakras, and also in the e-course, Intuition Evolution Part 2. So people can appear social and or functional at work or in life, but still have depression. So it doesn't mean the only time people are depressed when they are sad and can't get out of bed or cry all the time. Depression is often the result of feeling stuck or powerless to make changes and is, as I said before, co-occurring with common conditions like hypo or hyperthyroidism and is often left untreated. So depression is important to understand because of the prevalence of it and because the Western model of life is not serving us and contributes to many of the issues that cause our neurochemistry and our spiritual connection and our psychological and emotional conditions to become out of balance. And also because depression occurs at the same time illness occurs and sometimes is a precursor. So it's important to know about depression so we can identify it in ourselves, our family and friends, and the people with whom we work, and our patients and clients. Depression can be set in motion in childhood from experiences that cause neurochemicals to set a groove that sustain depression. However, this does not mean that it cannot be changed. There are activities that heighten the entire physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and spiritual energy system that facilitate the release of depression. Some foundational activities include attending to what I call a full circle of self-care activities or exercises. These daily practices teach our system through movements, interventions, and changes that retrain our thoughts and actions, how we breathe and relax, and through addressing our breath, our heart rate, our brain waves, and our inner well-being. It isn't a one-time fix, but a lifestyle change that attends to this full circle. So starting with the lower right-hand corner, community is very important. Positive social support, connection, friends, social interaction with respect. These activities where there's laughter and joining together are very meaningful. Next is sharing music with people and sharing music with ourselves, and specifically certain kinds of music, which can be listening, participating, moving, and singing. Those are all very important and uplifting, and those specific kinds that help us shift our brainwaves are as easy as meditation. And meditation is another very important piece in this full circle. So meditation and music affect our breath and heart rate, our brain waves, and our emotional connection. The next part of the full circle is our spiritual connection. However that occurs for us is meaningful to sustain, whether it's with religion or without. It is that spiritual connection that's very important for us. Like I mentioned before, a short meditation practice of even 10 minutes a day is very beneficial. And walking is the simplest of activities for most people that helps us move our body and helps our mind and our being and our body together and helps to diminish negative thoughts. Another important piece is our attention to what goes into our body, like food and eating plant-based foods, including greens and proteins, as well as healthy oils and good water. Substances, self-medicating, interrupt the nourishment of food and, in addition, create depletions. Also, other negative sources are negative thoughts and exposure to computers and television, especially before going to sleep, can interrupt our sleep cycle. Sometimes looking at supplements can also help to alleviate depression. Other things that are very important for us are to take some time in nature in the day and the night, even for short periods of time where we feel the earth beneath us and notice the sky and feel the wind, feel the sun. Those are all very important. Additional methods that include helping us release depression are forgiveness and gratitude, art, clearing the burdens of the past, and being with animals and having houseplants. allowing ourselves to step out of that vigilant state of consciousness, creating small goals instead of large goals that are overwhelming by breaking down tasks and asking for assistance, knowing this is not a sign of weakness, and attending to and recognizing negative self-talk. Alleviating depression occurs by attending to this full circle in small steps. These are all affect our overall being, including our physical, psychological, emotional, and energy system. This is an excerpt from the e-course series, Intuition, Evolution, and the ebook series, 50 Plus Kinds of Intuition, Energy Medicine Primer, Awakening the Science of the Auric Field and Chakras, and Fields of Light, Dynamic Explanations of over 40 vivid images of the Auric Field and Chakras and their mental, emotional, and physical relationships. To get your free stress, anxiety, depression reduction meditation, go to twi.education/free-videos. Thank you for listening.